The early modern period, New Age, lasted from the mid-15th century to the late 18th century, serving as a bridge between the Middle Ages and modern times. This period is often marked by key events, such as the fall of Constantinople to the Ottomans in 1453 or the discovery of America in 1492. Spanning nearly 3 centuries, the New Age came to an end with the French Revolution of 1789, leading to the decline of feudal structures and the rise of modern nation-states. Throughout this era, profound transformations took place in geography, culture, religion, politics, and economics, with increasing global interactions shaping new economic models and institutions. One of the first major breakthroughs of the New Age was the Age of Exploration. During the 15th and 16th centuries, Portuguese and Spanish navigators led the way in searching for new maritime routes. In 1492, Christopher Columbus, attempting to reach the east by sailing westward, arrived in the Americas, though he mistakenly believed he had found a part of India. Shortly afterward, Vasco da Gama sailed around the Cape of Good Hope in 1498, reaching India by sea. In 1519, Ferdinand Magellan began the first circumnavigation of the world, which was completed in 1522 by his crew under Juan Sebastián Elcano, thus providing concrete proof of the Earth's roundness. These explorations opened new trade routes, causing the decline of traditional overland routes such as the Silk Road and Spice Route. Trade shifted toward the Atlantic coasts, elevating ports such as Lisbon, Amsterdam, and London. This economic shift negatively affected the Ottoman Empire, which had previously benefited from controlling key trade routes. Meanwhile, vast amounts of gold and silver flowed into Europe from the newly discovered lands, significantly boosting its economy. European powers established colonial empires, permanently settling in these regions. Migration from Europe to the New World increased, spreading European culture and Christianity. However, indigenous civilizations suffered great destruction due to European colonial expansion. The wealth generated by these explorations strengthened the merchant class, bourgeoisie, fostering a newfound appreciation for art, science, and learning. Thus, the Age of Exploration played a crucial role in accelerating commercial capitalism and advancing scientific knowledge. During the same period, a cultural and intellectual movement known as the Renaissance transformed Europe. Originating in 15th century Italy before spreading across the continent, the Renaissance was marked by a revival of Greco-Roman intellectual heritage, leading to remarkable advancements in science, art, and philosophy. After centuries of dogmatic medieval scholasticism, Europe embraced a more free-thinking and innovative approach. The dominance of religious orthodoxy weakened, and empirical observation and reason-based thought replaced blind faith. The invention of the printing press by Gutenberg in the 1450s enabled the rapid spread of knowledge, increasing literacy rates. This period saw the rise of artistic and intellectual giants such as Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo, and William Shakespeare. The Renaissance encouraged the emergence of a new educated elite that valued art, science, and critical thinking. It also laid the groundwork for the Reformation, as the questioning of religious authority grew. The Reformation was another major transformation of the New Age, marking a turning point in religious history. In the early 16th century, Martin Luther challenged the authority of the Catholic Church by publishing his 95 Theses in 1517 in Wittenberg, thus sparking the Protestant Reformation. Spreading rapidly across Europe, the Reformation fractured Christian unity, leading to the emergence of new denominations such as Lutheranism, Calvinism, and Anglicanism, alongside Catholicism and Orthodoxy. The power of the Catholic clergy diminished, and many states established secular education systems. The Reformation also led to the confiscation of church-owned lands, which were taken over by national governments. For centuries, the Pope had wielded significant influence over European monarchs, but the Reformation ended this dominance, shifting religious authority to the hands of national rulers. This period triggered long and bloody religious wars, particularly in Germany, where conflicts between Catholic Habsburgs and Protestant princes culminated in the 30 Years' War, 1618 to 1648. The fragmentation of Christian Europe prevented a unified effort against the expanding Ottoman Empire, which had long been considered a major threat. Ultimately, the Reformation ended centuries of religious unity in Europe and permanently altered the traditional order. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire remained a dominant force in Europe throughout the New Age. Following the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the Ottomans emerged as the most powerful empire in Eastern Europe and the Mediterranean. Throughout the 16th century, they rapidly expanded into the Balkans, the Middle East, and North Africa, defeating the Kingdom of Hungary at the Battle of Mohacs, 1526, and advancing into Central Europe. By 1529, they reached the gates of Vienna, threatening the heart of the continent. However, after the Second Siege of Vienna in 1683, in which the Ottomans suffered a decisive defeat, their expansion in Europe came to an end. This defeat marked a turning point, and by the late 17th century, the Ottomans lost key territories under the Treaty of Karlowitz, 1699, signaling the beginning of their gradual decline. The New Age also saw significant scientific, artistic, and economic changes. The scientific revolution advanced human understanding of nature, with thinkers such as Nicholas Copernicus, Galileo Galilei, and Isaac Newton laying the foundations of modern physics. Copernicus challenged geocentric models by proposing the heliocentric theory. Galileo used the telescope to make groundbreaking astronomical observations, and Newton formulated the laws of motion and universal gravitation. The scientific revolution shifted knowledge from religious dogma to empirical observation, emphasizing reason and experimentation over blind faith. This intellectual movement laid the groundwork for the Enlightenment, which flourished in the 18th century. Philosophers such as Descartes, Voltaire, Locke, and Rousseau promoted ideas of rationalism, secular governance, and individual liberties. Concepts such as natural rights, social contracts, and the separation of powers emerged during this time, influencing both the American and French revolutions in the late 18th century. In the economic realm, capitalism began to take shape. By the late Middle Ages, commercial ventures and banking innovations had already emerged in Italian city-states such as Venice and Genoa. However, the age of exploration significantly accelerated the growth of capitalism, as European powers gained direct access to the riches of the East. The decline of Mediterranean trade routes and the rise of Atlantic-based commerce shifted economic power to countries like Portugal, Spain, England, and the Netherlands. The bourgeoisie, merchant class, grew in wealth and influence while the feudal aristocracy gradually declined. The influx of precious metals from the Americas triggered the price revolution, leading to inflation and changes in economic structures. The mercantilist economic model dominated European policies, with governments seeking to accumulate gold and silver, promote exports, and establish colonies. Major colonial empires emerged, with Spain and Portugal leading early expansion efforts, followed by the Netherlands, England, and France. These nations established trading monopolies, such as the Dutch East India Company, 1602, and the British East India Company, 1600, becoming the first multinational corporations. The expansion of international trade also fueled the transatlantic slave trade, as European powers exploited African labor to sustain their colonial plantations. Financial institutions, including stock exchanges in Amsterdam and London, played a vital role in shaping modern banking and global commerce. By the end of the New Age, Europe had transitioned from a feudal agrarian economy to a proto-industrial capitalist system, setting the stage for the Industrial Revolution. In conclusion, the New Age witnessed remarkable changes, including the Age of Exploration, the Renaissance, the Reformation, scientific advancements, and economic shifts. These developments reshaped the world and paved the way for modern history, culminating in the French Revolution of 1789, which marked the beginning of the contemporary age. As a result, the New Age was a defining period in global history, shaping the political, economic, and cultural dynamics of the modern world.